sold about 150 tickets for today's session, and I'm very excited that you're here. All right, let's get started. Oh, big blue bright sky in Bentley too. Fantastic. All right, so hello and welcome back for some of you to our today's online Thermomix workshop. We have themed this one Consultants' Favorites. And my name, for those of you who don't know me yet, I'm Danny Valent. I'm one of the local team leaders here in the Bayside area in Melbourne. And as already said, you are here in my kitchen today, which is in beautiful Hyatt, sunny blue skies, and yeah, lovely weather today. So together with my team, we are about, well, 10, 12 consultants on here today. We will share our favorite dishes, and on top of that, also a lot of tips and tricks handling with your Thermomix, and so that's just for free along the way. I will introduce you to them as we go through their kitchens. And so what you see, so today we're going to use the latest model, which is the TM6. And all the recipes that we're making, but one, are suitable for also older models like the TM31 or the TM5. The beef tacos, which are going to be presented by Monsi, are a TM6 recipe only, because that's going to use the high heat function. So I'm very pleased today that we can show you one of the new functions of the TM6, and that's the browning or the high heat function. More about that when Monsi's on. So for those of you who already have a TM6, we had a rather exciting week happening this week because we have received a software update, and there were 2 new functions and 1 previous functions being improved, which was very exciting. And on top of that, we also have now video guides in the recipes. So this means guided cooking on your Thermomix screen has become even more exciting, because during a recipe, and I've seen a couple with the baking, so they show you on screen a video how to roll the dough and how to shape and form that. This is amazing. So I'm always blown away by how this machine is getting better and better over time, and how technology works here with regular software updates. So 2 new modes have come and have arrived at the TM6. One of them is an egg cooker, egg boiling function, and the other one is a reheat function. So this means you can now reheat your soups carefully, and or let's say baby food also, you have a temperature control there, and it just makes the handling and what you can do with the machine even more exciting. Bad news for TM5 owners, you are missing out on that software update. We have also received an improved function of the pre-clean. So pre-clean is, I think it's a massive helper in my house, because I really don't like doing dishes. So I have completely fallen in love with the new pre-clean function now. And so I know TM5 owners, you do have a pre-clean too, but not the new and improved, sorry about that. And also the videos in the video recipes, they will not show on your TM5 screen. So if you like what you see here today, think about upgrading. Get in touch with your consultant. They're more than happy to help you with that. Okay, what else did I wanted to say? We're still having people coming in. This is amazing. So hello and welcome to everyone who has joined now. So we have, yeah, so I'm going to come back to that at the end of this again. So just letting you know, if you are interested in upgrading today or in this month, I just need to know that we have in the month of September a free gift with purchase, which is a set of Roswell trays. the muffin tray and the pizza tray. And for those of you who have already experienced the quality of that bakeware, you know what I'm talking about. These two are just amazing. And part of the free gift also is that one of our favorite books, the Eat Well book. So that helps you to get more vegetables into your food easy way. So there will be no free gift with purchase in October, just putting it out there so you know. Okay, so life's short, all right? I need to stop talking now. And we are going to head over to Megan's kitchen first, and she is going to show us her chocolate volcanoes. So it's thank you. It's a really cool dessert, but actually it's a hot one, right? Because it's volcanoes. Am I wrong?
That's right. Thank you, Jenny. Yes. Hi, I'm Meg, and I'm going to be making the chocolate volcanoes. So you couldn't have a consultant's favorite recipe class without chocolate, and we've got 2 chocolate desserts in this one today. So this one is from Danny Valent's book called Entertaining with Danny Valent. So I love this recipe for 2 reasons. 1, I like chocolate, and 2, I really like Danny's cooking. You might have heard Danny on the radio. She's been supporting chefs in this pandemic, and also the non-resident workers from in the hospitality industry. So I like Danny, and the nice thing about her recipes, and it's included in your Cookidoo, is she puts nice notes. So if you have a look at the volcano recipe, you can see that there's history to this chocolate volcano recipe. And in fact, chefs around the world have competed for ownership of this recipe. So it was very popular, started in the 1980s. And some of the chefs who have claimed it are French chefs who tried to patent it, and also Nigella Lawson and Gordon Ramsay. Anyway, it's great because it's chocolatey and it's actually very easy, and a lovely lava comes out at the end when you put your spoon into it. You might have seen it on MasterChef. So there's a little trick to it too, that you have to get your cooking right. The good thing is the Thermomix does the hard work, and then we put it in the oven and hope that we get the cooking right. Anyway, so we'll get started. So the good thing is it's really very simple. There's just a few ingredients. So first of all, we have some chocolate. Oh, hang on, no, I've got to do something first. First of all, we set up our little ramekins. So I've got these little silicone ones. Silicone ones are great because they're easy to get your little volcanoes out of later. But you can have other ones, like these metal ones, but you would need to make sure you really put some melted butter on those well, because you want to be able to get your volcano out at the end, or you'll miss the fun. So we do need to do that. So I've done most of them, but I'll just show you how to do that. So just some melted butter and pop it into your ramekin, like that. Get it right around the sides and into the bottom. And then this is partly for effect, but also helps with the non-stick. We put a little bit of cocoa. So I've just got some cocoa there. And what I like to do is put it into a sieve, a little tea strainer, and then, oops, just do that over the top. You can't see it quite there, but I'm just sieving it into the little ramekin. And then just tap it around so that it is moving around. You can do it a bit better when you've got 3 hands. And I'll show you one that I've done before. They'll turn out like that. So you want the cocoa all around the sides. Okay, that's it for those. So there's 8 of those in the container. And I've got those sorted for us. Then it is, put your oven on 200 degrees. And that's the thing about this recipe. You might want to just test this at home. It's not too bad. You have to test it to check how hot your oven is. And then it's 350 grams of dark chocolate. So you want to use a good quality chocolate. I've got these Calibut ones. So it's a 54% minimum cocoa solids in that. And these come in lovely little pellets. You can see there. And you can buy this at Costco, so that's good. Or you can buy it at good quality cooking shops like the, what's the one in Paran? Got the name, someone can help me. Oh, you can buy them online, but it's actually quite inexpensive to buy those at Costco. If you don't have that, you can use a nice quality from the supermarket, but get, you know, the good one. The essential ingredient, thank you, Ruth. What else? There's also the sauce. So if you're around Bayside, you know, the sauce that's in Hampton Street, you can use, there's Lindt pellets you can buy in the tubs there. So use a good quality chocolate. And I think you do need to have a dark chocolate. So if you don't like dark chocolate, maybe this isn't the one for you. Okay, so it's 350 grams. I've already weighed that. And then you grate that down. So good thing with Thermomix that it will grate for you. Pop that in, and we just don't do that for 5 seconds.
Maybe let's.
Sorry, Jenny.
Okay, so whilst this is mixing, maybe just need to point out the importance of a very dry bowl whenever you're handling chocolate. So there can't be any moisture from the previous, you know, cooking and drying up. So make sure your bowl, and especially below the blades, it's absolutely dry. Otherwise, you will not have any success with melting chocolate.
That is very true. So just there, you can see that it says just scrape down the side so that it goes back down, because we're going to melt that and we don't want the stuff up the edge. So there you go. And add 150 grams of butter. So when you put your butter in, it's a good idea to have it sort of chopped into pieces, because that will make it a bit faster. And if you were going to be mixing it, it won't be too heavy in one blob. Let me get it out there. Did that earlier. Right. And 150 grams of brown sugar. Put that in. And a pinch of salt. So I like to use some sea salt, some grainy sea salt, and I'm quite generous with my pinch because I think that brings out the flavour of the chocolate, and you get that little slightly salty edge with the sweetness that's, you know, that we like from the salted caramel sort of flavour. Okay, so we're just going to melt that down, and it takes about, how long is it? 4 minutes. So while that's doing that, I think we'll pop over to someone else.
Yeah, thank you so much, Megan. I think we're popping over to my kitchen again. Letting you know, I need to mute Megan's kitchen now. Hang on, no, we're coming to the big screen here. Technology, just fantastic. All right, so I saw in the chat that people were requesting the link to the recipe. It's on Cookidoo. We're gonna bring that up for you in a moment. I know Kim is busy. So by the way, Kim, thank you so much for managing the chat and the spotlighting here for us today. So Kim is finding the recipe link for you. Yes, all recipes are for you available on Cookidoo. So we're going to pop them in the chat in a moment. Okay, so as you can see, it's different. I'm going to do some cooking here with you today. My recipe for today is actually the salmon, and it's a balsamic salmon with zucchini noodles or zoodles. So I'm very excited because, you know, the theme today is a consultant's favorite. And that actually isn't my recipe. So I'm jumping in for another consultant who has selected this recipe. Her name's Katja. She can't be here presenting with us today. Anyway, I said immediately, yep, I'm going to do it. So I love this recipe. First of all, the reason for that is it's quick, it's easy, it's low carb. That's very important for me personally. And it's basically everything else, egg-free, gluten-free, whatnot. So it's a very, very easy and straightforward recipe, and we're all supposed to eat a little bit more fish, so that's going to be a recipe that's very tasty and very easy for you to recreate. It is actually from a collection on Cookidoo, which is called Quick and Easy Meals Salmon. So there's a dedicated collection. I think it's 10 or 12 recipes in there, all quick and easy, and all have salmon in it. So gonna find that recipe and hopefully a couple more of that. All right, so as we do, we go onto our Thermomix screen, and I do have a close-up camera. Hang on, let me try. There you go. So this is my Thermomix screen. I'm using my stylus pen just because it's so much easier for me to navigate here, especially when you go into Cookidoo and you want to start typing in and searching for a recipe. I don't know about you, but this is a fat finger. So this helps me with the typing in there. All right, just so you know, that's available in the mix shop, and it really is a perfect match for your Thermomix screen in case you have that. Or sometimes, you know, you have wet fingers, or when you're cooking, you've got dirty fingers and you don't want to tap on your screen. So the stylus here really helps you with that too. So accessing my recipe, so I have that put into my weekly meal plan. So going from the home screen over the menu, so this is how I can access my weekly meal plan, and these are all the recipes we are cooking with you today. Mine's all the way in the bottom, and that's the balsamic salmon and zucchini noodles. So I hope for those of you who have the TM5 or the TM31 haven't seen that before, that was something new. And also here you can scroll, you see the recipe looking exactly like in your cookbook, and also gets the nutritional information, hints, tips and tricks with every recipe. So all we need to do is click on Start Cooking, and it starts with the aroma. Again, that's why this is a great dish, because I can show you how easy it is to use the aroma. So here it says grease the aroma dish in a tray and set it aside. I'm not going to do this today, and I'll show you also why in a moment. So now it says place a bowl onto the mixing bowl lid and weigh in 500 grams of trimmed or spiralized zucchini. So you can see mine are already done. It's just I don't want to waste the time. So basically what you could do is you pop the bowl on top of the lid, and then you start weighing in. So then the scales will go up. And we always get the questions about the zucchini or the zoodles, what kind of spiralizer you'd use. And I'll show you my favorite. So this is like a giant sharpener, looks like it. All right, I've got, with this one, I've got two settings for thicker and for small. So this is the result for the thicker ones. And what usually happens when you're just like a pen scraper, so you like a pencil sharpener, so you just use that, and there's always a little bit of leftover. So this is how they look like when they have been spiralized. All right, so and these inserts, I keep them in a Ziploc bag. I pop them in the freezer, and these are the stuff that I use for my veggie stock paste. So I don't have any waste or leftovers, so I don't throw away the bits, heads and tails and this stuff. That goes in my veggie stock paste, and that basically makes your vegetable stock paste for almost nothing, for free. How good is that? I thought I'd just share that with you. So, however, coming back to my recipe, I have weighed in now my zucchinis, and now it just wants a tablespoon of olive oil, and I'm just doing that out of my wrist. No tablespoon here. And going next, and it says set the bowl aside. Well, certainly can do. Around here. And we go next. And now we're starting to weigh in the ingredients into our bowl. So did you just see what happened? So I took the lid off, and this is a lot of times when we have fails in recipes is when people do not pay attention to their scales. So it's very important when you do the cooking in between, before you weigh in the next ingredient, make sure you tear back your scales to 0. Otherwise, this recipe could end in a disaster. All right, so now we're weighing in the balsamic vinegar straight into the bowl. 70 grams. Oh, I lost 2 grams there on the way. Doesn't matter. And click on next. Now 80 grams of white wine, and same with the chocolate. Use a good wine that you would also drink. So hearing that from chefs from around the world, so cooking wine should not be a less quality than the one that you're actually drinking, or preferably have a glass of your good wine then with the dish. A bit over, but that's really not a drama. So now we're weighing in 80 grams of honey. As I said, I'm a low carb fan, so I will replace this today with rice malt syrup, just because that's a little bit more compliant to my way of eating. And since you all are too far away to come around and taste it, I'm the only one going to eat it. You have to go with it. But obviously, feel free to use honey instead as well. Okay. What was that? I saw you can buy these zucchini sprouts at Aldi. I saw that too the other day. And I thought, oh, why is that? You know, so that's just so easy to make. Why would you buy that? But on the other hand, sometimes we are really time poor. And if you don't have a spiralizer yet, by all means, go for it. It makes your life easier. So, yeah, that's the start. So that was weighing in 20 grams or 23 of Dijon mustard. As you can see that the scales are going in 1 gram increments, as in your TM5 is in 5 gram increments, your TM31 I think is in 10 gram increments. However, that is very, very sensitive, and really 1 or 2 grams with the cooking, or even 5 or 10 grams for cooking, doesn't really matter. With the baking, different story. But I'm not the baker here. There are other experts coming later who can tell you more about that. All right, so now you can see a tablespoon of fresh rosemary leaves only, and in the next step it says 2 cloves of garlic. Obviously, that's why I put in 3. You love garlic. Hey, why not? If you don't like it, leave it out. You are completely in control what's going in your food. All right, this is a funny way of telling us that we should put the lid on top and insert the measuring cup. It's just the other way around, but don't read that all the time anymore. You just have a look at the picture and you go like, oh yeah, that's what she means. Put the lid on top, insert the measuring cup. So now we're going to chop that up for just 8 seconds. And you can see the timer has been automatically set. Turn the speed selected to 8 is what it says here on the bottom. And all we need to do is flick the dial. There we go. You notice a different sound there as well. You can decide, you can set the sound of your jingling noise to your liking. So now we've just created a beautiful marinade. Right, so scrape down the sides, and I'm using a soft spatula today that we also have from the mixture. I do have preferences with my spatula depending on what I'm making. So now this is when the aroma comes in place, and instead of the measuring cup, it says put the lid on top, but don't use the measuring cup, so put that aside. Instead of the measuring cup, place the aroma into position. So this is the aroma, that UFO-shaped steamer unit that came with your Thermomix, and that's the aroma dish. So that's the bottom, all right? And so it says put that into position. And because later on we're going to add the zucchini sprouts to it, I'm going to use this trivet, and that just elevates the food from away from the vents from the bottom. So just that little gap that's needed to make the steam come through a little bit more even. All right, so popping that on top. Need you to, oops, come a bit higher. Sorry about that. Here we go. And now it says, insert the varoma tray. That's the varoma tray. I've already preloaded that. And pop in 4 fresh, boneless, skinless salmon fillets. Okay, and you notice I haven't greased in the first step. And the reason for that is I am using these varoma inlays today. So for the fish, and because for that recipe, I want all the moisture, all the flavor from the salmon drip through to my sauce that I'm creating here at the same time. So if I use something that I don't like that to happen, I wouldn't use the one with the vents with the holes in it. I would use one that's closed, and then that way it wouldn't contaminate the food that's sitting in between. Make sense? So I don't bother about the weighing. That's all done. And here we go. Oh, we need to swap over to the other screen. Right, that's a bit easier now for you to see. And so now we just season that with salt and pepper. And again, I just do that out of my right hand. Just like that. To your liking. And click on next. Now it says pop the lid on top. You can see I'm using a new varoma lid here. The new varoma lid versus the old one it's just a cosmetic thing. So that was the old one, you probably have that one. The new one just matches the color with the base and the bowl. All right, popping that on top. If you just recently ordered your Thermomix, you might have already received the new lid. Okay, so now we're going to steam that for 10 minutes. So on my screen it says 10 minutes, varoma temperature, and we're going up to speed number 1. And again, I just flick the dial and let the machine do the rest. This is how hard it is. Doesn't get any harder than that. Not easier either. Okay. So before we're coming back to me and see how the steam is going, we're heading quickly back to Megan's kitchen and let's have a look what the Volcanoes are doing.
Chocolate. Yes, so we've melted that chocolate in the butter and it looks amazing and delicious. And that's about what the center of your volcano is going to look like later. And we just have to add in the eggs. So it's quite a lot of eggs. So it's 6 eggs and then 2 egg yolks. So I've got those there. And I'm just going to pour them through the lid as it's on. So it goes on for 2 minutes. We're going to do this and it's on speed about 4. And we just pour through the lid 1 egg at a time. So that's how you're incorporating 1 egg at a time. I'll turn it on. Make sure it mixes in. So can you still hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, good. Oh, 2 went in. I wanted to let you know the good thing about this recipe is that you can actually put it in the fridge for 2 days or in the freezer for 2 weeks. So if you wanted to prepare in advance for the time when you might have guests in your house, then you could do that. So it's something you can prepare in advance. If you freeze it, then take it out and defrost in the fridge. Otherwise, you know, you're ready to go, pop it in the oven, and it's only like 10 minutes in the oven, maybe 12 minutes.
All right, so Megan, it was just a bit hard to hear. Probably once that has finished, I need to ask you to repeat that, please.
All right, we'll do.
Thank you.
I might just stop that now because it's all we're doing is incorporating the eggs, and then we're going to put in some flour and some vanilla bean paste. So they're going to go in. What I was saying is that this is a good recipe for preparing in advance. So you can put this in the fridge for 2 days. Once you've prepared them, put them into your ramekins, put them in the fridge, or you can freeze them for 2 weeks. So, you know, if you're getting excited for the 26th of October, that you might be able to have your friend over, then you could make them in 2 weeks' time and they'll be ready to take out of the freezer. Just let them defrost and then they can just go into the oven for 12 minutes. So it's a good one that you can have a dinner party dessert prepared in advance. Let me show you what you can do about your flour. Well, if you can just tip that through the hole too. If you're into jam making, you can use a little jam. This is a jam setting funnel. So normally you're pouring your jam into your jar like that, but I just pop it in the top, and then you can put your flour through there too. So that's just a little tip from me. But I think that'll do from me for now, Jenny, while I do that.
That's great. So that jam funnel, actually, well, I have never used that to make jam, but it's available also in the shop. So a lot of things that we're using here today is wrong camera. Yeah, here we go. Back to, hang on. Kim, I'll let you do it. A lot of the things that we are using, no, I'm not. Here we go. That's me. But a lot of accessories we're using and showing you here today are available on the Mix Shop. So definitely a great place to go and check out, depending on what you're after. If it's the baking or if it's the cooking, there's a spiralizer there available as well. So just for letting you know. And when you go to the Mix Shop, at the checkout, it will ask you who's your consultant. So don't forget to put in the name of your consultant, so they know what you're cooking, and then they can help you and support you with that and even further. All right, so mine's still taking 5 minutes to steam. That's why we are well, my salt and pepper shakers, I know, they're really hot. So they are from Aldi. So you need to look out when they're back on special buys. I know they're really cool, and I'll pop it in the Bayside Thermomix group, letting you know once I see they're coming back, and then you need to run there for your life to get some. They're really cool. However, so we are going now to Elizabeth's kitchen, and she will show us the brownies, but brownies with macadamias and white chocolate. So Elizabeth, why are they your favorites? Oh, hang on, no, we need to unmute you first. Now you are muted. Here we go.
Fantastic. Welcome everybody to, it's blustery Blairgowrie down here. The wind is blowing, the rain is raining, and I was a bit worried my house might float off into Port Phillip Bay. Anyway, all good to go. White chocolate and macadamia brownies. Now I had everything all ready and I got to just bang in straight away, and I've been so engrossed in what my colleagues have been talking about, I let it go. Oh, would I like to go to my last recipe? I think that's a yes. But there we go. So we can start. So I've already got my pan ready. I've already heated my oven, so I can get stuck into the actual process. And it says unsalted butter, 100 grams. I'm going to tear that because the lid weighs, and when I took that lid off, oh my goodness. So listen. Uh-oh, I have a small problem, guys. Jenny, would you like to jump to somebody else and come back to me in about a minute?
Yeah, no problem at all. This is...
Sorry.
This is real life kitchens. That can happen, no problem. All right, so how about we still have another 3 minutes to go with the screen there. Meg, I think you are not ready. Well, are you?
I am. I can show you where I'm up to. So I have got the batter, I guess you'd call it. It's a super rich smelling chocolatey goo, which is already making this kitchen smell amazing. So I'm going to use my little jam funnel to make sure the batter goes into the little cups as well. Now, you don't have to do that. It just keeps it a little bit cleaner. Now, when you're filling these, it says to leave 5 mils at the top. Now, personally, I probably would leave 1 centimetre so not much difference, but that just allows it to rise. And also you don't want to have them too tall because they might collapse. So let's just do that. You can see that there. Hang on, back a bit. So you've got your spatula, pour that through your jam funnel into your silicone cup mold. Leave a bit at the top, then just scrape it off, and there you go. Show you one of those. There. Yeah. So leave about that much at the top. So that's all I'm going to be doing, just filling up those, and then they go into the oven. It's 200 degrees oven, and I've already had the oven heated. And first of all, they're actually going to go into the fridge. So you do want them to go into the fridge for about 20 minutes. That just helps the batter set a little bit. You don't want it too runny, otherwise they're actually going to collapse when they come out. So we need to put them in the fridge, and then they'll go into the oven, that 200-degree oven.
Okay, wonderful. Back to Elizabeth's kitchen. Here we go. You're ready to go?
I'm ready to go. Do you want to know what my problem was?
Your bowl was dirty.
Yeah, I'm not on spotlighted. Do you want to spotlight me?
You are spotlighted.
Oh, it doesn't look like on my end. This is the beautiful Bund cake tin. And while I've been waiting for you guys, I made a cake.
Oh, yum.
Then I forgot that the bowl wasn't clean. And I'm waiting until we can earn a second bowl, because you can always do with a second bowl.
Definitely.
So sorry about that. I feel very embarrassed, silly me. So I'm moving on with the recipe. Here we go. It would like me to grease, which I've done. I brought myself undone, you realise that. So the first thing in is 100 grams of butter. I have tared it. So down we go, because my butter's been ready to go for a couple of hours, so it's good and soft now. And then the next step is 30 grams of water. Now I've actually weighed my water out, because as I said, I get very excited and you don't want to put too much in. But normally I'd use my lid to put my water in. The next one is the dark chocolate. So I've already broken it up to pop it in. And I was very interested with Megan sharing, because I've got some very, very definite opinions about chocolate. The cooking chocolate that you buy from the supermarket, I think is not really the best quality. So I was very pleased to learn about her big bag. I tend to use these ones, dark chocolate. And what it means is I can actually break that up in the bag before I have to open it up, keeps my hands clean. So the next step now is insert measuring cup. You'll see this recipe is the easiest one. I'm a very lazy cook sometimes. So it's going to be 5 minutes, and I think you don't want to listen to that go around for 5 minutes, and it will be chopping and melting the chocolate. So you can cut away and come back to me when you're ready.
Coming back to you, one question, how much chocolate was that?
I used Old Gold, which is a Cadbury's chocolate. It used to be McRobertson's back in the 1950s. Yes, and I was around then. Lindt chocolate's another good one. I'm very fond of the 85%.
All right.
And there are other chocolates, but quite often the supermarket has them on sale. At the moment, this one's only $2.50, which I think is half price or $2 off. But I've always found it to be a really good quality chocolate. I don't want to mention names, but I don't like the one that I see in the cooking section.
Okay, thank you for that. So Madeline, we're going to share the recipe link with you, and then there you'll find the details on how much of the ingredients it was. Okay, so now my first 10 minutes of the steaming have finished, and now it wants me to set aside the Varoma lid and tray with the salmon. So when we're using the Varoma, there's just one rule we need to be very careful, and that means opening up the lid away from us. So never check, with the front. So and put your nose in there, you're gonna get a facial. So the rule is when you're opening up the Varoma lid, open it away from you so the steam can escape to the back. So what I usually do is that you just saw me, I just turn it upside down, and then I use my lid as a saucer. So I don't have any mess here on my kitchen bench. It actually just wanted me to take the lid off, and just so for demonstration purposes makes it a bit easier. So when I go on next, can I just say the smell I already get from the sauce it is steaming in is just amazing. So there's this there's the vinegar and the wine, but also the sweetness from the balsamic. Beautiful. So it's already straight in my nose with the garlic and the rosemary, just full of flavors already. So this is my base with the trivet already in there, and all I'm doing is adding the zucchini spirals on top of that. So this was 500 grams. You could also easily mix that up with carrots, half of the carrots, and again, it doesn't have to be too precise. These vegetables usually don't grow in 100-gram batches, so if you have 550 or a little bit more, doesn't really matter. So you could have half of carrots here instead of zucchini only if you wanted to. So now we do this all in reverse, popping the lid, the varoma back on, popping the tray, on top of my zoodles, and again, lid goes on top. And you can check your salmon, how depending on the size of the pieces, if they're already through or not. And here you go, got wet fingers. And it's just another 3 minutes. We complete the steaming here, and we're coming back to me only in the end. So I will do the setup in the carrots not really much longer. They don't take a lot longer, and especially with it. So it's only 3 minutes that we're doing them. If you have them all in the same size, so usually, and it's nice if they have a little bit of a bite to it, if they're not, too slushy, especially the carrots. Here we go. So it's another 3 minutes steaming. I will be plating all of that up in my thermoserver. That is one of our host rewards that you can get access here today. Talk to your consultant about that. And that's a double-walled insulated bowl that keeps your food hot or cold for up to 2 hours. So I'm going to pop that in the thermoserver, and I'm going to show you the result then at the end. All right, but we're heading over now to Chris's kitchen. Chris, what are you going to cook for us today? Hang on, you're muted. 1 second, 1 second. Now we can hear you. All right. No.
Hi.
Yeah.
No? Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can hear you.
Okay, I'm cooking the Thai chili chicken and basil, but without the chicken today.
Great.
Okay. Yeah, so this has been my favourite recipe probably since the early days of my Thermomix career, so maybe 11 years ago, when the chef Nico Moretti came out to Victoria and did a cooking class, and I think this was one of his dishes. So that was back when I hadn't gone plant-based, so I used to make chicken all the time. And I love it because after a while I knew the recipe off by heart. I didn't really have to follow it. I could just chuck the ingredients in. A little bit more, a little bit less, didn't really matter. It always turns out beautifully. So it's great. So I used to make it with chicken. Sometimes I used to make it with fish. So now I make it with vegetables, and it still tastes just as good. Sometimes I put some tofu in it. Sometimes I might put some chickpeas in it. But today we'll just do vegetables. So I've got it all ready. I've already cooked my rice. So I did my rice a little bit earlier, and that's just in the thermoserver staying warm. So that's good. So I'll press, yep.
You got a minion there in your kitchen.
Oh yes, I've still got my 31 out. So I've been doing a bit of cooking today. So it's always good to have the old workhorse. For this recipe, it doesn't ask for any vegetable stock, but I like to add my veggie stock. So I didn't have any, so I've been making it up this afternoon while my rice is cooking, and I've been making some jam. So yeah, the 31, it's such a good workhorse. I can't get rid of it. It's great to have two machines. So that's good. Okay, so get back to the recipe. I've got 20 grams of fresh basil. Oh, sorry, I didn't tar it, but I weighed it beforehand when I was measuring it all up. Now I've got some, it says Thai basil, but I just buy the normal sweet basil and it works out beautifully. I've got my coriander. It's more than that. I go next, measuring cup, and I'm just going to chop that for 3 seconds.
And that's a great recipe. It's straight from your basic cookbook. So that's the one, even if you don't have Cookidoo access, either in the green one that came with the TM5 or the white one that came with the TM6, that recipe is in your basic cookbook and you can access it there as well.
Yeah, it says to transfer to another bowl, but I just quickly grabbed another bowl. So now it says about 100 grams of carrots into the Thermomix. Some red capsicum. Look, I don't normally put the red capsicum in it, so this when I saw the ingredients, I chopped it up. So I'm not going to pop it in because otherwise it'll just chop up. Since I've already chopped it, it'll be too fine. So I'll just do the carrots, if that makes sense. So 3 seconds again. I think my pieces were a little bit big then, so maybe high speed's a better idea. Yeah, nice and chopped up. So I'll pop that into another bowl. I don't have to worry about washing the bowl. Pop it back on. Next, an onion, some chili. This is a recipe again. You can leave the chili out if you don't want to make it too spicy. All right, so it still tastes great. Again, 3 seconds on speed 7. So we all know how long this would take if we didn't have a Thermomix. So now it asks for 20 grams of oil. So I'll just tar it. I don't necessarily always do what the Thermomix tells me to do as far as oil is concerned. So I will just pop my oil in. So that's just under 10 grams and that is perfect. I mean, some recipes, it's probably, yes, it's a good idea to follow the instructions down to a T, but not all the time. Next. So we're just going to saute that for 3 minutes. And I think you'll come back to me later, Jenny. But I just wanted to say, the great thing about this recipe is I'm a chucking kind of cook. And this recipe, I can do that. So I really like it. It's a really simple, easy to do. It's a family favourite. And like I said, whether you're going to do tofu, vegetables, chicken or fish, it just comes out perfectly every single time. So back to you, Jenny.
Yeah, thank you. That's just great. And how I like the flexibility with that recipe. So whether you want the chicken or not, you are in control of what's going in there. And for me personally, the coriander would be a no-no. So if you're a little bit like me and you're a coriander hater, because there's nothing in between, I hate it or you love it, you could replace it with parsley, just so you know. Anyway, enough about me and my coriander obsession. We are heading to Sandy. Sandy, what's your favourite recipe and why?
Hi everyone. So today we're going to be making the Chiang Mai Noodles. So this is actually one of our favourites in our family. So we make this quite regularly. And the reason is it's just so quick and simple. It takes literally 25 minutes from start to finish to get it on the table. So for me, I could not even, by the time 5 of us actually decide what we're actually going to have as a takeaway meal, by the time all the arguments are all over, we work out what we're doing, we ring up, we organise to either pick it up or get it delivered. I could have had this on the table. So this is one of our really nice, quick takeaway meals that our family absolutely loves. So as well as saving a heap of money. And you know what's in it, which is why we all love our Thermomixes. So today I am going to do the Chiang Mai noodles, and I've got it scheduled in my week. And it's just coming up, and we'll say we're going to start cooking. And as Jenny said, we can scroll down, we can look at the ingredients, get it all out. You can look at your hints and tips. You can see all the calories, anything that you're obviously interested in. And we're just going to say start cooking. Now this is actually the first step is asking for 2 to 250 grams of dried egg noodles. Now the egg noodles, I've actually already pre-made the egg noodles, so I've already cooked them off. But you can use any noodles. So you can see here, I've actually got the Hokkien noodles today. So you could use dry egg noodles, you could use Hokkiens, udons, soba noodles, have whatever it is that you want. Obviously, you know, some people like gluten-free, things like that. So use whichever noodles you want. So I've already prepared those and got those ready. So we're going to go to the next step, just drain, cover and set aside. So that's exactly what I've done. Now it's asking for 6 echallots cut into halves. So again, use echallots. You could use brown onion, you can use red onion, use whichever onion you actually want to use. So I have my onions here. So I've got a little bit of brown onion and I do have some echallots as well. So I'm going to throw those in. 3 garlic cloves. For once I've actually gone with 3. Normally if it says 3, I use 5. So I've gone 3 garlic cloves. And it's asking for 1 to 2 red chilies. Now I have halved them and I've de-seeded them. I'm only using 1 here today, just my family would not have it too hot. With what we actually make with one red chili, it's nice with the red curry paste as well. Gives them a little tickle in the back of their throat without being too spicy. So de-seed it, or if you like it spicy, keep the seeds in your chili. So we'll go next, and it's asking for us to put the measuring cup on. The lid with the measuring cup. So go next. And it's saying just turn the speed selector to speed 7. So that's the joys of guided cooking with Cookidoo. It will set everything for you. You see it's going to just chop to 3 seconds. And we're just going to turn the dial to speed 7. Okay, we're just going to go next. Now it's asking us to scrape down the sides of the bowl with the spatula. Just a little hint. Don't put your head over the bowl with onions and chilies unless you want to have a nice little cry for the afternoon. So I'm trying to stay away from it as much as I can. I'm sure you don't want to all see me cry. Okay, so we've scraped down the sides and it's asking for 40 grams of oil. So again, as Chris said before, you could do 40 grams or you can just reduce it slightly. Oh, those onions are getting to me now.
We could increase it when you're on a low-carb, healthy fat diet.
Well, there you go, Jenny, yes. And so we've put the oil in and we're just going to put the lid back on the Thermomix. And you can see it's now going to do it, cook it for 3 minutes on at 100 degrees. And it's asking us just to turn the dial to speed 1. So we'll do that for the next, oh, I am crying. See, it got me for 3 minutes. So over to somebody else, if you like.
We're going straight back to Chris's kitchen. Or hang on, no, hang on, stop, wrong. Elizabeth is next, Ron. You're muted, you're muted, you're muted. Can you, sorry, I can't unmute you. Here we go.
Got to see my wrinkles up close. You're so lucky. Okay, so that was 5 minutes. And what we have now is a lovely melted chocolate, the butter and the water mixed in beautifully. So to move on to the next step, it says 100 grams of caster sugar. Ta-da! Next. Oh, got to mix it again. Pop the lid on. We don't want that spraying all over the kitchen. And that's 10 seconds at speed 3. I'm not sure you can hear me. I know that the Zoom automatically mutes this. Now, I love the vanilla that Megan used, but it just so happened that I ran out today, and I did have some from the essential ingredient, which is delicious, but it means that I have to be, normally just squeeze it in, but I'm now actually following the recipe, 2 teaspoons. With me, I tend to be a bit of a guest cook. So to move on, we now go in the 2 eggs. For your convenience, I've already broken them, so we'll just whop those in. And the beauty about this recipe is it's for all those people that are gluten-free. So I'm using gluten-free flour. I've started using this quite a lot because I have a lot of friends that have gluten intolerances. Now this is me as the cook. Pinch of salt, I think that's done it.
Elizabeth, we have a question in the chat. If no one likes the white chocolate, could you just double up the dark?
What I've done is I've doubled up the nuts.
Ah, good point.
But you could probably have some chocolate bits as well. So one of the things that you asked us to say, why did we choose this recipe? This is a very forgiving recipe. If you've got a little bit too much of this or a little bit not enough of that, it just seems to like it. Okay, next we're going speed 4 for 5 seconds. So we're just going to mix that up.
Okay. A couple of seconds, we have someone else. Here we go.
Now I've noticed with this recipe, with the mixing, I like to do it a second time because I think that flour is a little bit light and fluffy. So what I tend to do, and never be frightened of being the boss of your Thermomix. So I scrape it down, pop it back on, put the lid back on. So I go backwards. So I'm going to give it another 5 seconds at speed 4. I'm a very messy cook. I think I'm getting chocolate everywhere. I don't know how to manage that. So next, in goes white chocolate. Next, in goes the whole macadamias. Next, on goes the lid. And 10 seconds at speed 2. This is just to mix the nuts and the chocolate in, so there's a nice mix through the whole recipe. So you see how easy this one is, and as I said, very forgiving. So if it's up a little bit at the sides at this point, it really doesn't matter. And I have my dish all ready to go. Now I am using rose gold and I don't need to line it with paper, but I am like a man that wears braces and a belt. It means that I can just lift it out when I'm ready to cut it. So at this point, Jenny, I suppose we can cut away to somebody else while I get this in the bowl, into the tray. But one of the things, I'm very parsimonious. And I want to make sure all of this comes out into my cooking. So what I tend to do is I say it's cooking with your ears. I'm just going to show you. I pop it back on. I pop the lid back on, and I'm actually jumping out of the recipe. So I hit the home button, and I want to use centrifugal force to force all the batter to the walls. So I'll just go a couple of seconds at a high speed. And you can hear by the sound, it's gone to the edges, which means I can maximise getting my batter out into my cooking tray. So Jenny, that's what I can show you right now, and I'll see you with my finished product at the end of the show.
Yes, thanks so much, Elizabeth. That was a great tip. So just use your blade, so you can go use turbo or just some high speed to get everything off the blades. Rather important when you make a beautiful dip, and because you can't lick the bowl. Sorry, I've tried, head doesn't fit in. So that's a great tip to have, just flick everything off the blades and off we go. So now I'm not sure whether we are going back to Sandy or to Chris first. Can we get a wave? How are you tracking? I think Sandy is ready. Here we go.
Hello. So,
yep, we can hear you.
Yep, you can hear me. So I am now going to go on to the next step, and it's asking me to put in 4 to 5 tablespoons of Thai red curry paste. Now, who makes their own curry paste? If you haven't tried it, you really need to. It's just amazing. You know, there's so many recipes in Cookidoo now to be able to do your red curry paste, your green, the tandoori paste. I just go to the local Indian grocer and go and get all my spices, and it is just amazing and so much cheaper than going to the supermarket and you know what's in your curry paste. So I have actually made my curry paste, and also the advantage of this is you can control the hotness. Is that a word? So, you know, for my kids, they love that little bit of spice, and they're a little bit more than a mild, but they certainly don't like it hot. So I do make my own curry paste. It really does not take long at all. So I pretty much for this recipe, I use the curry paste that I make, the red curry paste. I use about 2 tablespoons for my crew. And with that 1 de-seeded chili, that is just optimal for them. It's perfect. If I gave them 4 to 5 tablespoons, I don't think they'd eat it. So by all means, control the curry paste for yourselves and your families. Now it's asking for the chicken thighs. So just cut into really thin strips. Again, chicken thighs are great, you know, there's a lot more flavour in the thigh. If you don't want thighs, then use chicken breast. You just want it a little bit thicker though, so it will hold form, so it doesn't really shred and things like that. So this one's asking for 500. Now I do use more chickens from my family of 5. I've got 3 teenage boys and a 6'4" hubby. So I use about between 600 and 700 grams of thighs generally, and that's perfect for us. It gives you a really nice amount of chicken. So feel free to add that little bit extra if you need to. Okay, so we're just going to put the lid on the bowl, measuring cup's still in it anyway. Go next, and you can see it's going to now cook the chicken and the curry paste and the onions and chili that's in there as well, and the garlic for 3 minutes. And it's going to cook on 90 degrees, and it's put it on reverse for us already. So that's, again, another advantage of Cookidoo. And it's asking us just to turn to speed 1. So we'll do that for the next 3 minutes.
Wonderful. That was a great tip there, Sandy, with increasing the ingredient as well. So this is absolutely possible. You can do that, whether you increase and add a little bit more vegetable to it, or you can also increase the chicken or the meat, whatever you're putting in there. There's just one rule you really need to be very careful of. When you do cooking, then you can't go over the maximum filling line, all right? So you see there's measurements inside of your bowl. Just beware that you stay below the maximum filling line when you do some cooking. All right, so we should be ready to go back to Chris's kitchen and see how the non-chicken Thai basil curry is going.
So it's chicken, and it's also no fish sauce, okay? So what I use instead of fish sauce is miso paste, which is one of the things that is recommended for vegetarians and vegans, and look, it's great. So it's asking for a tablespoon of fish sauce, sweet chili sauce, and ketchup mayonnaise. So I just mix them all together beforehand just to make it easier. So you don't have to watch me get 3 bottles. So in it goes. Okay, and again, it says a tablespoon of each, but I normally just glug it in. You don't need to worry about measuring it. Okay, it's asking for the chopped herbs. So there's my coriander and basil. And as we come into basil season, where it's a little bit cheaper than throughout the rest of the year, I buy a lot of basil and I make, unless I'm growing it, and I make a lot of pesto. So I'll make a pesto dip and I'll also make a pesto sauce and I'll pop them in the freezer. So sometimes if I want to make this dish, I'll just get one of the pesto sauces out and use that instead, you know, rather than paying $6 or $7 for a bunch of basil, and it works perfectly. So you can do that as well. So I'm just going to put the measuring cup on and I'm going to cook for 2 minutes.
Okay, great.
All right, just sauteing at 120 degrees and gently stirring it around.
Perfect. Yeah, great tip with the miso paste. Also, that's because it's fermented soybeans. That's also very good for your gut health. Okay.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah. So we're heading over to Monsi's kitchen, all the way to Cheltenham. And Monsi is going to show us the high heat function on the TM6 today. Monsi, why is this your favorite dish?
Hello, welcome to my kitchen in Cheltenham. This recipe is a favorite in our house because it's so quick. You can whip up this recipe so from start to finish in 25 minutes. Again, like Sandy says, you can adjust the hotness of this recipe. So the taco seasoning, I adjusted for our liking. We don't like it very hot. And also you can make it vegetarian really, really easily. Instead of using beef, you just use beans. I use black beans. Okay, I'm gonna start cooking. So it says grated cheese. I already done it. I'm gonna show you how can you jump steps on your recipe. So I go to my full list and I just jump whatever I wanted to do. So before ask me for grated cheese, I already done it. So I didn't want to, you know, put the cheese and grate it. So it's already there. Okay, it's asking me for 2 cloves of garlic. So I put 2 cloves there. Here it's going to ask me, oops, sorry, too fast. It's going to ask me to chop it.
So we have a question, Chris. Is this the beef tacos we're doing?
Yeah, we're doing the beef tacos, but in my house, side of the family don't eat meat. So I can do easily the same recipe. So I will do exactly the same for the meat eaters to the non-meat eaters. The only thing is that for the meat eaters, obviously I use beef. For the non-meat eaters, I just use black beans. So here it says, don't scrape the bowl, so I just have the garlic. The reason for that is because we are going to use high heat and we don't want to burn the garlic. So now it's going to ask me for onions. Oops, sorry, I didn't chop my onion at least in quarters, doesn't matter. This is as quick as it can be. That's it. So
the only time when we have to be a little bit careful because the blades will start detecting what you're putting in there.
Yeah.
If you've chopped them too fine, when you put them in too fine and it wants quarters, then the Thermomix will complain. So just, you know, when we're doing high heat, that's one of the times when we have to be really precise with what we're doing. Yeah. What are you putting there on top?
And now we are going to use this plus guard. You always use it when you use the high heat. So with this, we can release a lot of the steam, but it will prevent for any hot oil jumping out of your Thermomix and burn yourself. I just put it here. This is done. And basically, it's going to be cooked at high heat, my onions for 4 minutes. So I don't know if you want to go to somebody or I can carry on telling you bits and pieces.
Nah, we hop back to Sandy's kitchen. I think she's ready.
Perfect.
And, So it's just, yeah, so with the high heat, it's just, that's just great. You just need, you know, the blades won't turn all the time, so it's not chopping up your ingredients whilst it's browning. It would just shovel it around from time to time. Anyway, stop talking, Jenny, get back to thinking.
Thanks, Jenny. Okay, so we've got our next step going on, which is 2 tablespoons of fish sauce. So I have already obviously got that out. So I've got my fish sauce going in. It's a bit of a tongue twister. 1 tablespoon of palm sugar. So I've already grated all of that up. So that's going in as well. And you've got 1/2 a teaspoon of turmeric. So I have that all ready to go. Let's get all that in. Don't like wastage. Okay, and 400 grams of coconut milk. So I have just a can I've already put into here because I would hate to see it go everywhere. And who's made their own coconut milk? Let us know in the chat if you have made your own coconut milk and coconut cream. Such a difference.
There will be a few. We had that as a recipe in the last cooking class for the basics. We have inspired a couple of people who were there to actually try it.
Yep, it's great. All right, 2 tablespoons of lime juice. I've already squeezed that. That's all ready to go. And 2 teaspoons of chicken stock paste. So again, I make my own chicken stock paste. So much nicer, so much more healthier than all the stock paste and liquid stock paste that the liquid stocks that you can get in the supermarket. You know exactly what's in it. So I made a lovely, nice, fresh batch through the week. So, and you get quite a lot. And I keep some in the fridge and I keep some in the freezer. It will never freeze solid with the salt that you've got in there. That acts as the preservative. So feel free to freeze your stock paste. And 400 grams of water. Okay, so let's see if we can do this without spilling it.
Yeah, actually, in terms of the chicken stock paste that you just mentioned, there's also these tins available. You can buy the powder. So if you do have any of them in your pantry, I challenge you, have a look if there's actually chicken as part listed in the ingredients. Very often they say chicken flavor. All right, so that's the difference it makes when you're actually using the chicken. It also has the health benefits.
Yeah, and you get such a big flavor boost making your own stocks in your meals, especially things like your risottos and everything. I have generally veggie and chicken stock in my fridge and freezer. And if it asks for something else like a meat stock or something, I'll just use one of the ones, but you can just use veggie stock as well. Okay, so I'm putting my lid on and it's going to now cook for 5 minutes on 90 degrees. It's on reverse so that it's not shredding all that chicken up, and it just wants it on speed 1. We'll do that for the next 5 minutes.
Fantastic. So, Muncie, your time with the first batch of frying the mince is hopefully up. Let's have a look.
Yeah, it just, am I on mute?
No, I can hear you. Good. Don't change anything.
Yeah, can you hear me? Sorry. Yeah, it just called me. So let's see. The smell is delicious, I have to say. So it's asking me now to remove the splash guard to chop those onions that I just cooked. So for 4 seconds, I'm going to chop it. Sometimes I like it to chop it a little bit more than anything because of fussy kids. So it's justified of going back. The smell of the caramelized onion and the garlic, it is just delicious. I could just eat this. So I think that I'm going to go back as this is going to be our dinner tonight.
Yeah, that's great. You just when you're not happy with the result in the first go, you just go back and repeat the step.
And now we're gonna cook at high heat as well, 250 grams of beef. So I'm just gonna put it here. I'm gonna be able to see it this way. So in total, we're gonna cook half a kilo of beef. So we're doing it 2 batches. The reason for that is because we wanted to brown the meat. So if we would put the 500 grams in one go, it wouldn't brown the beef properly. So, yeah. Again, it's asking me for a little bit of oil. Again, I don't put the same amount, you know, 20, I think is a little bit too much. So I'll just put a little bit. And we're going to use this glass guard again. So another 5 minutes.
Okay.
In this time, the blades, as you said, they are going to be moving and stop, moving and stop.
Yeah, we can hear that.
Also, I can show you my taco seasoning. There is the recipe in here. As I mentioned earlier, so this is the taco seasoning from the book, Eat Well. With this recipe, it's asking for a lot of chili powder. We can't go with that amount of chili powder, but even though we remove the chili powder, this is what we have. The amount, you can make 4 batches easily, 4 meals from this seasoning. So obviously you make it, and it's just the fact of whipping things very quickly.
That's a great tip, and I love it that that recipe is actually in the gift with purchase.
I'll mill it here. And I'm going to show you another trick. If you don't have the fantastic funnel that Megan has, you can use your Thermomix lid. So just by placing your Thermomix lid on a jar, you can put your mixture like that. So no mess. There you go.
Another great tip there. Thank you so much, Monsi. We're heading back to Chris. I think Chris must be ready now for the next step.
Sorry, I cannot hear you. Say that again, sorry.
Oh, no. Yeah, we're heading back to Chris's kitchen.
Okay.
All right, Chris.
Okay, so now the recipe says to add 100 grams of skinless chicken thigh fillets or 800 grams of chicken breast. So I'm going to add my vegetables. So I've got carrot, eggplant, and cauliflower today. But of course, you could add whatever you wanted. So I've left my cauliflower in nice big chunks because I like it like that.
But it's just the exact same amount in the chicken.
Yeah. So it might something like machine here. Anyway. Sorry, the scales were a bit skewy for a second there. So there you go. Okay, so next is bamboo shoots I don't have. Coconut milk. It says 150 grams. So let's see what I've got. I've got some there, and then I just have it in my other bowl. There we go. So a little bit more. I just did that so I could get all the herbs out. So next, the reserved carrot and the capsicum. And at this stage, I'm going to add some of my vegetable stock. Just to round off the flavour.
Yeah.
And I just love the vegetable stock. I use it for everything. So there you go. So it's asking me to put the simmering basket on top because the steam can get quite hot. And it wants me to cook for 10 minutes on just soft speed. So now you can see why it's one of my favourite recipes and how easy it is to use, to make. You can just chuck the ingredients in go off and do something else in between. Look, I suppose that's all Thermomix recipes anyway. So yeah, that's it. Jenny, back to you.
Perfect. Yeah. So now, and again, I'm not sure where we're at in Sandy's kitchen and Megan's kitchen. Sandy gives me a thumbs up. So let's go back straight to your noodles, the Chiang Mai noodles.
Hi, yeah, welcome back. So what I'm now doing is, this is the last step of the recipe. It's so easy, seriously. It's asking for 5 or 6 stalks of bok choy or pak choy, any of those that you would like to do. So I don't just do 5 to 6 anyway. As I said, I've got teenagers. So I put everything in. So I've actually got 2 big stalks. So you think it looks like a lot that I'm putting in there, but I just give it a little shove down there. You could use a mix of broccoli or, you know, the bok choy, any of those sorts of things. Have a mixture. Just have a play with the recipe. It's really nice. So I'm putting all of my 2 big stems in, and I'm going to insert the lid, which I've now done, and it's going to cook for, 4 minutes on 90 degrees, again in reverse, because all it's doing is mixing it. It actually smells amazing. I can't wait for this tonight. You need smell-o-vision. And on speed 1. So I'm just going to turn that on speed 1, and off we're going to go for another 4 minutes.
Right, let's see how Megan is tracing. I don't know if you've already put the Volcanoes into the oven or not.
I have, and mine are ready to show you, actually. Now, I can do the whipping the cream. Would you like to see that?
Oh, why not? Let's hear it about the whipping the cream.
Okay. So whipping cream in the Thermomix is easy, but don't forget that you are the chef. So you need to keep an eye on it. So you can do that by taking out your measuring cup and looking into the bowl. I've already put the cream in there and the butterfly. So you can see the butterflies there. And what happens is, you know, your cream has come from a cow. The cow is different every day, and also how long it's been at the supermarket, or if you happen to have your own cow and you made your own cream. So it does depend a little. So keep an eye on it, because some days it'll whip faster than others. And you whip on speed 3. So this says 45 seconds, but keep an eye on it. So I'll turn that on. And just as a note, that you never go over speed 4 with your butterfly in. So here we go.
Right, that's a great tip there. So you have to start cooking with your ears. So when you handle cream, then we just need to make sure that we are cooking with our ears. Because let me just quickly mute Megan here. Because in a matter of a couple of seconds, if it goes bad, then you're going to make butter, right? So that's just something to be mindful of. And especially if you want to make butter, sometimes it can take a much longer than the recipe for butter making says. So as a rule of thumb, the fresher your cream, the longer it takes before it gets butter. All right. So when you just want to whip cream, make sure you have really fresh cream that's not so close to the use by date, and vice versa. Okay. So very helpful what Megan's doing here. So take the measuring cup off and have an eye onto what's happening inside your bowl, right? So you don't end up with butter. If you do, well, you have to do it again. Back to Megan.
Okay. All right. So mine is looking pretty good. Might be able to go a little bit further, but no, I think that looks nice and stiff. So I'll set that aside. Ready for our lava cakes, but they are ready to go. So here is the test. So I've got one ready, and I've made a little plate ready to go. Look at that. I've used actually another Nico Moretti recipe where he makes some raspberry coulis. I didn't have all of the raspberries, so some was strawberries. And I've got a little syringe just from the supermarket. Oh, sorry, not the supermarket, the chemist. You might get it in your cough mixture or something. And I put some of the coulis in there and just did little dots. So you can make it a little bit chefy. And then to make the pretty look, just drag it along with a toothpick or a stick. There we go. Like that. Beautiful. Easy. And now the test. Here we go. We've got the little lava cake. He's out there. Oh, there he is. So it worked well. The test will be in the cutting. And another few little chefy things. I've got some Persian fairy floss here at the top. Oops, that might be a bit much. To make it look good. And look, then you've got a beautiful restaurant-worthy lava cake, and we might cut into it. See what's happening. Ready?
It is $25 in the restaurant right then and there.
It's looking good. I'm just going to come over so you can see. All right, can you see in there? Oh, the goo's coming out there in the middle. So it's done well. I think we've got perfect cooking, and it was very easy to do, and it tastes amazing. And we've got the cream ready to go. So I'll enjoy a bit of that while you finish off.
Oh, perfect. Thanks so much. Don't forget to take a photo. We want to
Will do.
Also
yep.
in our Thermomix community group. If you're not a member yet, please head over after this class, not now, to Facebook and search up Bayside Thermomix community, and we will let you in, and we're going to share the recipe links there with you again, as well as a photo of all the beautiful dishes that we have created here for you today. Okay, so here we go. Next kitchen, we should be, how's Monsi going with the next step? I think you just keep on browning your meat, is that right?
Yes, I'm just browning my second batch of beef. So after that, I'm going to add the first batch back into the bowl. Mm-hmm. And then the spices, the taco seasoning that, as I said before, I really liked the fact that I can have control in the spiciness or the hotness of that seasoning, and also know what is in my seasoning, you know, the one from the shops, you never know what they put. And I have completely control. I know what is in there. And yes, and it tastes delicious. Just the spices, it smells really nice. Okay, so he's asking me now to put the reserve spices that I had from before. Okay. From there. Some tomato paste, 50 grams is here. Can't see. Cooking upside down.
That's fine.
Yeah. 70 grams of water. It's just because I put tomato paste. Sometimes another favorite in my house is tomato sauce. I make tomato sauce every week because I can put a lot of veggies and it's very versatile. I can do a lot of things with that tomato sauce. And instead of putting this tomato paste plus water, I put my own tomato sauce. The seasoning, the taco seasoning, all day. And just to cook. Insert the, so 3 minutes and it's done.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So now I was just thinking when you talk about the seasoning there, to store the seasonings also in a vacuum sealed bag. So we have them now with a mini handheld vacuum sealer in reusable Ziploc bags on a mix shop. I have made a little video on the Bayside community group, so you can check them out there. But that would also be a great solution to store fresh milled and dry roasted spice mixes there as well, to keep them really fresh for the next batches you're going. Anyway, getting sidetracked here. We need to look a little bit of the time. I don't know, Sandy, are you ready for the next step? I can see you are busy in the kitchen.
Yeah, I'm actually done, Jenny. So I have no more steps other than to serve it up and dish it up to the family. So not sure if you can see, it might be a little bit hard, but I will take a picture. But it looks amazing, smells amazing. Full of chicken. I've just dressed it with some bean shoots and some spring onions. And what else? Oh, the coriander that obviously some of you don't like, but I absolutely love. And just some chilies on the top. And it's just an amazing meal. Looks divine. We're going to enjoy that tonight.
So much better than the takeaway. And it's actually hot when you want to eat it, and you know it's not soggy and whatnot. The takeaway.
Exactly.
Looks fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so we had 2 desserts so far. Well, we had the Volcanoes and we had the brownies. Well, brownies can be a dessert, but now comes another showstopper. And we are heading to Melissa's kitchen. She will show us the cheesecake version, and they are just, I know, so Melissa, she's my baker in the team, and she knows everything about desserts and that. So why is that your favorite, Melissa?
I don't know that it's necessarily my favourite, but I found it a couple of years ago looking for a dessert for a demo where people had seen the custard and they'd seen fruity dremel sorbet. I think it might have been too cold for that. And I actually just went on to Cookidoo when it first came out. And I just put in a couple of search parameters. I needed a dessert. I needed it to feed 6 to 8 people. I didn't want it to take any more than a total of 15 minutes, and this is just something that came up. So and it's lovely, and I did it for the first time at a demo. I always like to try something new for the first time in front of an audience, because there's nothing like that element of fear that gives you the edge. So this is, it's a really nice light dessert. It'll go beautifully after Sandy Chiang Mai Noodles, just something nice and lemony, freshen up your mouth. But what I did think when I looked at it, it's called Ricotta and Pistachio Cheesecakes, and it's from a little collection called 500 Calorie Meals. But I thought that it needed something else, because the recipe is just the ricotta pistachio cheesecake mixture, I think, and I just think it needed something else. So I took 2 lots of bases. So we did a deconstructed cheesecake. So I took some Tim Tams. So I thought just something chocolatey and crunchy it needed at the bottom of the glass. So I took Tim Tams, and then I've also took what I'm going to do today, which is almonds, dates, cacao, and a bit of coconut oil. Turbo that up, and then you've got a crunchy base. It's got a bit of chew, bit of crunch, bit of the bitterness of the dark chocolate that cuts through the lemon and the ricotta, and it just makes a beautiful dessert. So that's how this came about.
Mel, should I just pop over with the Chiang Mai noodles and we can share?
Excellent, Sandy. That sounds like a great idea.
Wonderful.
All right, so this is not actually part of the recipe, but what I've got in here is 3 dates, about 100, a dessert spoon of cacao, about 20 grams of coconut oil, and about 80 to 100 grams of raw almonds. And I'm just going to find a lid and just turbo that a couple of times, just to give us a little bit of a crunch at the bottom. Turbo will do that maybe 1 second twice. Ooh. And then we'll get back to the recipe. And save me having to wash this bowl while you were watching, I'm going to use my 2-bowl joy. All right, we've just got a brown, nutty, crunchy, chewy base on the bottom of that. So I'll just quickly grab my second bowl and we will just jump straight into the recipe. The other reason that I like this recipe is that there's no cooking and it's just, I don't know, 6 ingredients, throw it all in and away you go. Start cooking. We have got white sugar. If you can't see my screen, I'm sorry, it's probably a bit flary. We've just got 40 grams of white sugar and some lemon zest. Now, if you're lucky enough to have your toolkit that you may have come with your Thermomix gift with purchase, I'll come back to that crunch in a second. These little, the peelers just peel just the lemon zest. No white pith, no yuck. They're brilliant. They will peel skin off stone fruit, skin off tomatoes. They're amazing. That crunch recipe was 3 dates, about 10 grams or a dessert spoon of cacao, 80 to 100 grams of raw almonds and 20 grams of coconut oil. And I reckon it probably might need 10 grams more of coconut oil. Okay, so we have just got the lemon and the sugar in there and we're just going to mill that at speed 10.
So whilst this is chopping, I think we can just write that down and we pop that into the chat in or in the on the Basil community, the recipe for the crunch.
Sorry, did you hear me say that? No, I didn't melt the coconut oil. I just threw it all straight in. You could use melted butter, absolutely. So we have just got milled sugar and lemon zest in there. So I'll give that a bit of a smack and a scrape. This is so quick. You can actually do this ahead of time. So like Meg was saying before, back in the olden days when you could have visitors for dinner, or in the future, we'll find out more tomorrow, I guess, when you can have people over, you can make this ahead of time. You can do this up to 2 days and leave it in the fridge waiting for you. Straight down sides, done. I'm ahead of the game. So we have got good old Costco vanilla bean paste, very technical term, slurp. And we have got 70 grams of pistachios, shelled pistachios. So you can see that this is what I've got, 20 seconds, speed 10. Sorry, this will mute me again.
That's all right. Actually, I can talk over you. Through the first couple of photos of the dishes coming in, that's fantastic. And yeah, I can't wait to share them all with you there on our Facebook group. And definitely we're going to get the details again from Melissa about the crunch, and we're also going to list that ingredients there as well.
Wow. I tell you what, there is such a difference. I've made this a lot of times, and there's a lot of difference between the green, depending on what, you know, your pistachios, where you get them from, whether they're from a packet in the supermarket. I actually got these from a nut market. They're just generally a bit more of a vibrant green, which is what gives this dessert its bit of a kick, but they're very green.
Almost as green as
stuck on the bottom of that. Sorry, Jenny?
It's almost as green as your spatula.
Yes, everything's green in my kitchen, including my expression some days. Okie dokie, fresh ricotta, 375 grams, also from the deli the other day. Off here. Now I've got 50 grams of natural yogurt, and this is Thermomix yogurt. If you haven't made Thermomix yogurt, how come? Why haven't you? This is actually, I still like, even though this one's got the fermentation mode, you can make it in your jars and do it in your Roma and all that kind of stuff. I still use the automated recipe from the TM5, but I just do it in the TM6. I just think it's the best recipe. It's easy. It works every time. Put it on overnight. It's done in the morning. Don't have to think about it. And it's beautiful.
Interesting that you say that, because I'm doing the exact same thing. I just copy the TM5 automated recipe and do that 8 hours overnight. So easy.
Yep. And mine actually may have been in the Thermomix for about 10 the other day because I'd forgotten about it and I got up late. But given that it incubates at 37 degrees, it's only going to get cooler. So if it cools down by the time I put it in the fridge, it'll be fine. Okay, what am I up to? Did I jump a step? Put that in there. So another 20-second speed forward to mix that all together. That's it.
Again, quite an impressive recipe again. So by now, if you haven't seen a TM6 before and how this guided cooking works, by now you will get the idea. It's just really reading what's on your screen, what's the next step, weigh in the next ingredient, turn the dial. That's it. It doesn't get any harder than this. Not easier either, as I always say.
No. All right. So that, we are done. So that's it in there. Now, what I'm going to do, you can jump back to Monty while I plate this all up for you. I'm just going to give it a bit of a scrape down. Oh, it's got some stuff stuck at the bottom. So what I've got is some little jars, and I'll have this all ready for you. So I just put a spoonful of the crumb in the bottom, and then I was actually going to pipe this in, but I don't think it's going to look any different piped or spoon because it's quite rough from the fresh ricotta, and topped with some chopped pistachios and some chocolate curls. But my value add for today, because I always like to do a little bit of a value add for everybody. Last weekend, not last weekend, the one before, I was in a bit of a baking challenge with some friends of mine and we had to do profiteroles. So I just made these profiteroles, which are the ones from the basic cookbook. And apparently you can freeze them and reconstitute them. So I thought, you know what, I'll give it a go. I'll have 2 set aside, because when I was thinking about this would actually make a really lovely filling for the profiteroles. So what I did with these little babies is froze them just in a Ziploc bag like they said to, and then I just gave them about 8 minutes in the oven just to firm them up again. And they're just back like I've just made them. So I'm going to pipe some of the mixture into those as well, and I will come back and show you how that all, yes, you could pipe into cannoli, absolutely. You might want to, I don't know, you might want to use a smooth ricotta maybe, or a combination of the smooth and the fresh to make it a bit smoother to pipe into cannoli. But absolutely, it's a really lovely filling.
Okay.
So there you go. I can put all that together if you like.
Okay, thank you. And don't forget to take a photo.
I won't.
All right. All right. We're heading one more time back to Monty, and I think she is, oh, I can see from here already. Oh, no, that was Melissa. We want to go back to Monty. Here we are.
You can see what I plate, but I will take a photo, trying to do similar to the photo there. I normally put little balls with cheese or tomatoes or even onions, and we all put our bits and pieces inside the tacos. The other thing is that if you are in a low carb diet, I will highly recommend you to use iceberg lettuce, the leaves. A good trick to open them quite easily is just to cut the base of the lettuce, the iceberg ones, the ones that they are like a ball. Put it underneath the tap, run your tap, and they will open. You clean them and you open them quite easily. So then you can use this as your shelves for your tacos. So
yeah, great idea there as well for that. Wonderful. It looks stunning. Thanks so much, Monty. And
somebody really, really, really eager to put their hands on them.
Okay, let's do one more round around the kitchens to show off the end results that we haven't seen yet. So thinking of the brownies, Elizabeth, can we see your brownies? Are they all fantastic? 1 second, we need to
This is how it is when it came, oh sorry.
Okay. Now we can hear you. No, stop.
Yes.
Yep.
You sure?
Yep.
Cool. These are still a bit warm to cut, so I had another batch done in advance. So that's how it is. Sprinkle some icing sugar on the top, What I tell you makes a great gift is you buy those nice little boxes from the $2 shop, the little pretty cardboard boxes around one, put your paper in and then fill it up with these beautiful babies. And what a wonderful present to take over to somebody. We're at a stage now, we don't need stuff, but consumables are really handy, especially when they taste so delicious. And why did I choose this one? It's a crowd pleaser, it's gluten-free, it's quick and easy, it's economical. Down here, if you want to get a brownie with your cup of coffee, it could be as much as $5. And your coffee is getting to be $4 to $5. Also, I said the recipe is very forgiving. It doesn't know if it's got too many nuts in it or not enough nuts or a change of nuts. And on top of that, it is mega delicious. It has been delightful to share this time with you, and I do enjoy working with my colleagues because I learn so much.
Wonderful. Beautiful as always. Thanks so much, Elizabeth. Can't wait for the photos to share that with you. So I think I need to share my end result with you as well. So I've plated them up earlier. So this is the salmon, and it's sitting on a bed of spiralized zucchini or zoodles, and I've just drizzled the balsamic sauce there on top, and it's just sitting in there, and I can't wait for this session to be over so I can have my salmon. Okay, and so we haven't seen the cheesecakes yet. Oh no, hang on, let's just have a look at Chris's chicken. She sent me a photo already, so I know it's ready. Here we go. Can we have a look at your end result? The not chicken. Here we go.
There it is.
Beautiful.
I know, it looks all right. What I did do too, I also added some garlic because I like to add garlic to everything. And at the moment, because it's hard to get good Australian garlic, I actually buy, I did buy some garlic granules from Kangaroo Island, just to support them through because of all the fires. So it's just a good thing, you know, when the Australian garlic is out of season, this is something that will just tide me through. So yeah, after something like that, it's great. They also do great garlic powder, which we use in a lot of our spices. But yeah, thanks, Jenny. See you later.
Thank you so much, and also for the inspiration to make a chicken dish vegetarian. I love the idea, and you just showed us how easy that was, and it looks stunning. Honestly, this is restaurant quality food that we can create here in absolutely no time. All right, so final dish is that we want to show you is Melissa's cheesecakes with a twist.
I'm muting myself. I'm just finishing. Okay, so I did end up piping it because I do like to pipe. I would pipe my porridge if I could, but these Thermomix, another unashamed plug, but I actually usually use the disposable ones, but these are crackers and they're huge and they're really easy to wash and dry. So here we have a deconstructed cheesecake. So we've got the crumb at the bottom, the cheesecake in there, and some chopped pistachios and chocolate curls on the top, ready to go. Then what I did, I actually piped it into the little profiteroles, a drizzle of dark chocolate over the top, and some more crushed pistachios. But another little tip for you, even though we can melt chocolate in which end I cut off, even though we can melt chocolate in a Thermomix, that's really easy. If I'm doing something like this, I just chuck a couple of squares in a Ziploc bag, very careful, microwave it, zip off the corner, then you can be very precise with your drizzling. Then I'm going to stick that back in the fridge, seal up the corner that I've chopped, stick it back in the fridge, so the next time I need it, I can just microwave that again, because there's always something that I'm doing that I'm drizzling chocolate with. And then when I'm done, the whole lot just goes in the rubbish bin. So, chocolate, gum.
Wonderful. Some really amazing tips that you all have shared there with us today. And yeah, so before we let you go into the rest of this weekend, Just a quick reminder that this month in September, we do have a free gift with purchase of a Thermomix for you. That's the Eat Well book and the 2 trays that come with it. If you want to wait until October, as I said, there's no free gift. There will be a purchase bundle available, which will cost you an extra $49. And your consultant is happy to show you or share a bit more details about that with you. And finally, I want to remind you that our Earn 4 program, so in case you don't want to buy a Thermomix, but you can also earn a Thermomix, is going to come to an end in end of September. There's still time next week to sign up for the program, and you could earn your Thermomix with 4 sales only. If you want to hear more about that, let your consultant know, or go straight in touch with me. I can tell you all about it. Meanwhile, we are planning our next cooking class for you, with you. Again, I can't promise any details yet. We just had an idea. How about, this was consultant's favorite, how about next time we do your favorites? So watch this space. Haven't quite decided how we're going to do that, but we would love to have a guest presenter next time. So if you like what you saw, what we're doing here today, and you go like, oh, I would love to present my favorite dish or one of my dishes next time with the ladies, with the girls, with us, then you're more than welcome to reach out to us, and we would love to have you doing this with us here. Okay, so thanks so much for watching or joining us here today. More of the details, tips and tricks are available on our Bayside Thermomix community group. We're happy to share that there with you. Thanks for watching and have a lovely weekend. Bye now.